Hi, welcome to week 2 of Fantastic Fridays. It's Miss Brandy again, and this week we're going to do an art project based off of a technique called Pointillism. Okay, and we'll talk all about that in a minute. But are you ready to see what's in your box this week? Okay, let's open it up. Now yours is going to have a sticker across the top, so just go ahead and break that sticker and open your box. All right, so you're gonna have a bunch of colorful paints just like we had last week. And you'll have some paint brushes. Some of you may have black brushes, some of you may have blue brushes, and everybody should have one of these little bitty brushes. And then you will have a bag with some Q-tips or cotton swabs in them. And you'll have a little canvas in your box, but I have a big canvas because that's just what I had on hand, okay? So I'm going to do my project on this bigger canvas, but you're going to do the same thing on your little one, okay? All right, are you ready to get started? Great. All righty, now that you have everything out of your box, I've set my canvas in front of me just like this, and I've got my paints opened up. I've got my paint brushes and my Q-tips, but I also have a cup of water, okay? And that's just for rinsing my brushes off if I need to. You can use a bowl, a cup, a jar, anything that can hold a little bit of water, okay? And then I also have a paper towel just in case I need it. I hope that you have access to those things too. All right, so before we get started, remember when I said that we're going to do a piece of art using a technique called Pointillism. All right, Pointillism is art that uses little dots of color to make a picture look like something without it actually being what it is, okay? So instead of, we'll just say an apple and you drawing an apple and then coloring it in, we're not gonna draw it, we're gonna use little dots of color to make it look like that apple. And I'll show you what I mean in just a second. So somebody that was really famous for pointillism artwork was George Seurat. And here is one of his paintings. And then there was another famous artist named Paul Signac. And this is what his work looks like. So you can see that they didn't actually go in with a pencil or a pen and draw a person or a landscape and color it in. They just used dots of color. And what this does is up close, when you're really close to the painting, it looks like dots of color. But when you stand back across the room, your eyes blend all those colors together to make it look like something else, look like the real thing. Okay, and today the picture that we're going to do is called Tulip Fields, and it was done by an artist called Shahid Zuberi. I think that I'm saying that right. And this is what that looks like. Okay, so what we're going to do is color half of our canvas blue and the bottom half green just to get started, okay? So I'm going to take the biggest brush that I have, which is the blue brush, but you might have the black brush as your bigger brush. Just use whichever one you have, not the little bitty one, okay? Use a bigger one. And I'm going to start off with this really bright blue. I have two different color blues here, but I'm going to use this blue that's right next to the green, okay? And I'm going to start at the top of my canvas and just start brushing it across. Now I know that this isn't dots of color, but we'll get to that in just a minute, okay? Right now we're just putting a background to it. And when you're using a paintbrush, it's really important not to mash down on the brush and rub it in, okay? Just put some paint on your brush and go back and forth, back and forth. Be really gentle with your brushes. Come all the way to the edge there. Get some more paint, back and forth. And this is going to be the sky for our tulip fields, okay? But what's really cool is that we're going to put a mountain in this picture. Yeah, a mountain. And then it'll have the field with all the pretty colorful tulip flowers too. Just take your time, back and forth, back and forth. Remember to go all the way from one edge to the other. And it is okay if you have some dark streaks of paint in there, that is okay. All right, so I've got half of my canvas, so not the whole thing, but half of it, all right? And I'm gonna rinse my brush off to get all the blue off of my paintbrush and just kind of wipe it on my paper towel. Okay, next I'm gonna get the bright green and I'm gonna do the other half of my canvas. I'm gonna start at the bottom this time. Remember, just take your time. If you're still working on your blue, that is okay. Again, we're going to go from edge to edge, cover the whole canvas. When you're done, you should have blue and green covering your whole canvas. Whoops, I accidentally stuck my brush in my purple paint. So I'm just gonna rinse off my brush, dry it off on the paper towel again, and dip back in the green. Sometimes that happens. That's okay, just be sure to rinse your brush. And when you get close to the blue, it's okay if they touch and kind of blend together. That is okay. Almost done here. So I'm just going to go back and just make sure that I've kind of smoothed out all of the darker green streaks of paint. You don't have to get it all out, but it helps. Okay, so now I have blue and green. I'm going to rinse my brush one more time. Dry it off. I'm going to set that one to the side. Now, our paint's still wet, but that's okay. We're going to take this small little bitty black brush with a pointy tip, and we're going to use this dark blue that's next to the kind of pink color and that darker bluish green like we used in our Monet painting last week. So take the darker blue, and I want you to barely touch the canvas with the paint and then make a big triangle. Okay, big triangle, just like that. Perfect. And then I'm going to come over here and do kind of a smaller one. Okay. Does yours look a little bit something like that? Great. I'm going to rinse off that brush. I'm going to go back and I'm going to take my big brush again and do the same dark blue. So that just helped me see where I want my mountains to be. And I'm going to very carefully paint in my triangles with my dark blue paint, staying inside those lines. come down in some spots. And come over in some. I like the way it looks going this way. Color in your other one. Very nice. Okay, so I'm just going to take the edge of my brush, just kind of bring it down like that. So that way it looks like this little mountain is sitting in front of my big mountain. Okay, but however yours looks is perfectly fine. I'm going to rinse my brush again, and dry it off, and set it down. Okay, so we're gonna let this paint dry. You can go take a bathroom break or a snack break, whatever it is that you need to do while your paint dries, okay? That's what it should be looking kind of like right now, all right? Okay, see you back here when all this paint is dry. All right, now that the paint has dried on your canvas, your mountain still may be a little bit wet, and that's okay. We mainly just want the green to be dry, okay? We're gonna take our Q-tips out of the bag. Set them off to the side over here. We don't need our paint brushes anymore right now, so we're just gonna set those off to the side, and be sure to throw this plastic bag in the trash, okay? That's not a toy, we don't play with it, we throw it in the trash. All right, so I'm gonna take my Q-tip, one of my Q-tips, and I think that I'll start with red. And so I'm gonna dip the very tip of it in red. And remember last week when we were just putting the dots with our fingertips, this is what we're gonna do with this one as well, but we're not gonna do any strokes. We are just going to put the dots, okay? So I think I'll start off right here at the very top. So I'm just gonna put a dot and then keep putting dots going all the way across. And when you run out of paint, just dip it again and keep going. So all of these little colorful dots are going to be like tulip flowers in a field, because where they grow tulips in Denmark and the Netherlands and all that, they put all the different colored tulips in rows, and it's so beautiful. This is how they're grown. And it's okay if some of the circles are bigger and some are smaller, some are darker, some are lighter. That is okay. All right, so I've got that row of red. So I'm going to take my Q-tip and I'm going to set it down on my paper towel so I don't get paint everywhere, okay? Then I'm going to take a new Q-tip and I think I will do, I think I'll do orange. And then I'm going to do the same thing underneath it. So I'll create a row of orange dots all by themselves underneath it, okay? I bet you're having so much fun doing this. I know I am. Just keep working across. There is a fly flying around in the studio with me right now, and I just wish he would shoo. Shoo, fly. He's driving me crazy. In the summertime, when it starts getting hot outside, all those flies start coming out. I think I'll make a little bit bigger of a row here. The birds are chirping outside. I can hear music from our neighbors, and that's just making me so happy to know that people are out enjoying their day, having a good day. Okay, again, I'm done using my orange one for now, so I'm gonna set it with the paint side on the paper towel. Grab a new Q-tip, and I think I'll do yellow now. Now the yellow might not show up as good as the red or the orange, so it's okay if you dip a lot more times to really make sure that those yellow dots show up, okay? You put as much paint as you want. Shoe fly. You just take your time with this. You might still be on the red or the orange or another color that you decided to use, and that is okay. You don't have to move as fast as Miss Brandy. Okay, I'm done with my yellow, so again, I'm gonna set it down. And this time, I think I will do purple. Yes, I love the way that that looks. Very nice. I'm just gonna go back and put dots where I want them. All right, I'm done with my purple. So I've got one more Q-tip left. What color do I want to use? I think I'll do pink. And I'm gonna just fill in the rest of my space with it. Canvas is kind of wobbly. I would love to go lay and run through this pretty field of tulips. Looks like such a magical place. Whoops, I made a little bit of a big one there. That's okay. I'm just going to take some of that paint and move it around over here. Okay, so I've got all of those colors going all the way from the top where my mountains are all the way down to the bottom. And remember, you just keep working at your own pace to fill in that space, okay? And then, so next, I'm out of Q-tips on one side, but I'm gonna flip it over and use the other side and just be really careful not to touch that wet paint right there. I'm gonna add some snow to the top of my mountain. So I'm gonna dip it in the white. And then I'm just gonna start down up here at the top and just make little bitty dots all over the top. And I'm gonna kind of come down one side of the mountain. Come down like that. I'm not gonna do the whole mountain. I'm just gonna do the very peak of it because that's where all the snow likes to be. Maybe make it a little bit wider up here at the very top. Very cool. I'm gonna do the other one now. I still have some wet paint right here and it's gonna end up mixing with my white, but that's okay. I'm not too worried about it. All right, a little bit more over here because I just want it a little wider. Okay, alrighty, now we've got some snow on our mountain. Now I'm gonna take another one. So I've got my orange one here and I'm gonna do the same. I'm just gonna add the tiniest bit of white to a little bit of my orange here. And I'm not talking about a whole lot at all. I'm just gonna go in, and you don't have to do this, but I'm gonna go in and put little dots of white with my orange. And that orange and white is gonna mix together as you press, and that is good. That's what we want. Okay, now it just kind of shows up a little better, huh? And I'm gonna do the same thing with my red. I'm gonna take the other end and dip it in my white. Kind of do the same thing. Not too much white, just a few dots every now and then. Okay. And then I think I'll do the yellow too. Not too much, just a little bit. So what the white does is kind of helps those colors to show up better. The yellow and the orange and the green. When the white mixes with it, it makes it stand out more. You certainly do not have to do this part. I'm just deciding to do it. That's what's great about art. You can kind of make it your own and do it how you want. Okay, I think I'll do this one that I used on the mountain with my blue and mix in with my purple here. And remember, we're not doing any wiping motion, we're just dotting it, okay? Alrighty, and last one is my pink. I use this one right here. Go in and do the same thing that we've been doing. Okie dokie, I think that I am done. How about you? Are you finished yet? It's okay if you're not. It's okay if you are, okay? So now we have our beautiful tulip field with some mountains. Looks like it came right out of Denmark, okay? Alrighty, I will see you here next week for your third project. Bye.